right, hell yeah. This is the first time this kind of feels like a cockpit, and so that's where I would jam my feet. And then over here we would have this 6 inches. And just even right away, we have this at 4 inches, and I totally forgot it can't be at 4 because 4 would be fine to lift up this way. But if it's only 4 inches, my foot can be sometimes 5 inches wide, and so that's too little to jam up. And what we're trying to do is shoot for 6, maybe even up to 6 inches. Let's see, because how does this feel? And maybe we could have it asymmetric, where right here, if this is my strong side, is a pocket at 6 inches, but then over here is when I jam my foot in, it's down to, like 3 inches. This is 4, and it's even too much for jamming the feet. Maybe not, because maybe you could actually go in and, just depending on the material. If it's foam, maybe you could get some purchase. But still, this is the 6 inches up front, and this really just has to jam in. And so whatever this height is right here, that has to be kind of flush with my foot. So hell yeah. And then so looking at this 6 inch out is too much. Let's go to the other side. All right, so right here we're testing that my foot would get in the way if this was 6 inches out. And I'm trying to figure out what's the reason for even having it 6 inches, because this is like 5 inches, I thought, and that's plenty to hook. But yeah, this doesn't feel like much of a hook, so that's the reason why 6 inches. So whatever this is, I think this is 5. That would be good. And in the end, I'll probably trim this up to 5. Since it's foam, I'll leave it at 6, just because that's what we're testing. If that's my strong side and I really want to, this is my weak side, but on the strong side, if I want a deeper pocket, especially over there to hook into, then I would have it. The issue is that this isn't going to be sharp. It's going to be soft foam, and it's going to, rise up from here. And what were we thinking about this? If this was at a height of 4 to 5 inches, we were saying that, this part right here can be a little higher, and it can taper down in. So when I do get my toe in there, it maybe secures. And so, honestly, over here, but that goes again, it's two different things, because what we were also saying is over here, if I got my foot sideways, this is kind of hard to do. Hell yeah. So if I jam my foot over here in this corner like that, it would fit in there. And so those are two different things. Like, one is if I'm jamming my foot in sideways, I really don't want all of this sticking out. But if I'm jamming my foot in forward and getting purchase, I do want that to be maximum. And so if the boat is going to be asymmetric and my feet are just going to be here to here, then that's cool. But if I jam it in sideways right here, then I can have the profile a little bit lower. And so for the time being, I'm going to foam it out as is, even though it's too much. But it's going to be foam anyway, so it's going to be soft, and that'll give me an idea of whether, having a place to hook in on the side is worth the drawback of being harder to shove a foot in sideways. All right, hell yeah. All right, that has to extend 2 inches at least to rest on that piece, and so we haven't cut the top piece yet. But man, we could recut that bottom piece. It is not. We have a gap up top, and then we have that gap down there. But, you know what I mean? I guess I gotta think on my feet, because I don't really care. Because, what we were doing is we're still trying to just set this cockpit in. It's going to be a set-in cockpit, because I don't know. yeah, so I'm just thinking on my feet. My whole goal of this cockpit was get it how I want it, but make sure I could just totally take it apart. And so, yeah, so the less that we duct tape in, that's going to be less to tear out. All right, booyah. All right, hell yeah. So this is kind of interesting because this gives me the profile up front. Like I could have that as my cockpit place for my feet, and then, you know what I mean, not too much for any supports. So if I did have a system where you actually climb through that hole up and over that, um, you know what I mean, that is my space for my foot. That can all be foamed out, you know, and then this lip probably just 2 inches higher of kind of mini seal foam or whatever, mini cell. You know, a little bit of structure, but not enough that you're going to gouge yourself. So it can be, you know, just something simple across there for that structure, and then little foam. Definitely foam below because that thing tapers to your feet. And so I can even sit in this right now. And so if I do have my foot in there like that, you know, it goes into 6 inches. So that's like right here, kind of right where this part is. And so all this will be foamed out. And so even that might be enough structure to have that part foamed out to where this could be the final height. You know, that's reasonable. It's totally reasonable. And definitely a rollover here, though. Like, obviously, you can foam about 1.5 inches that direction, up to 2 inches that direction, and you know, even more. So this whole thing can be rounded just a little bit, and probably this high. And if it is rounded, then I am able to drive a shin over the top of that, and so that would be beneficial. All right, hell yeah. But yeah, just the idea of climbing through this, you know, you're going to grab here, you can get on here, and then you're going to have that to pull yourself into the cockpit. So this is like, hey, this is the minimum you would need up front. Like, obviously in the back, this is basically going to be totally flush. And so I'm going to work on foaming that out. I may be taking a break for tonight. I got that piece in. And so, you know what I mean? I might work on this piece, but we'll see how far we get. But we did pretty good. Booyah.